I can provide you dedicated space inside my hotel
Mm-hmm.
where you can come and you can do the party with your guest. But
Mm-hmm.
I am only going to provide you dedicated space. Rest everything will be managed by you, or rest everything will be managed by us.
Okay.
Rest everything means where my guest would be able to sit, table, chair, sofas we need to manage. Where my guest would
Mm-hmm.
be able to dance, music, DJ floor we need to manage. Raw material via which food will be cooked or food will be prepared, we need to manage.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Utensils, crockery, where the food will be served, we need to manage. So hotel manager is only providing space inside their hotel. Rest everything is managed by us.
Okay.
If we compare this with technology, Microsoft says I can provide you space inside my data center, but
Mm-hmm.
rest everything you need to manage. Example could be virtual machine. So when we create a virtual machine, where we are deploying this virtual machine in Microsoft data center,
Mm-hmm.
but rest everything is managed by us. Which operating system we want, Windows, Linux, what should be the size of the machine, which
Mm-hmm.
application we want to deploy, who will be writing the application code, we would be writing the application code, who will be building the application, who will be deploying the application, we will be doing all that activity.
Mm-hmm.
Who is responsible for this virtual machine high availability? If the machine is not available, would we be able to access the application? No. Machine scalability, machine patching, machine backup, machine updates, so all that part is taken care by us. So we are responsible for creating, managing, deploying the application. We are also responsible for creating, managing, and deploying the machine.
So the only the physical hardware is there.
Yeah, it's given by Microsoft, right?
Yes. So okay, and is there a how do they define it? Like are the physical hardware common, or like they are like company based, or how does they provide physical hardware?
Both options are there. So there can be one big hardware on top of which 100 virtual machines are running. 10 may
Mm-hmm.
belong to me, 20 may belong to you, 30 may belong to a different organization. If in case you
Okay.
want to go with a dedicated host, if you want to go with a dedicated hardware, that is also
Mm-hmm.
possible. So there is a service called as dedicated host. Means now you are getting a hardware in Microsoft data center and only virtual machines from your organization will be hosted over there. But then definitely it will be costly. But definitely you're
Okay.
getting more security.
So okay, in the first case in IaaS, so basically multiple companies VM could be running on the same server.
On the same hardware you can say, yeah.
Yeah, physical server. Yeah, on
Yeah,
same physical server.
right.
So how do they segregate the services? Like the company doesn't go like so. It's like how do they partition or like they create separate
Network,
V like okay, separate VNets, huh?
separate units.
Okay.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. Now, second is now hotel manager says, I have a plan B for you. Hotel manager says, as per the plan B, I am going to provide you dedicated space inside the hotel. And apart from providing you dedicated space, I'm also going to provide you the underlying infrastructure. Means
Okay.
where your guest would be able to sit, table, chairs, sofas, we will provide. Where
Mhm.
your guest would be able to dance, DJ floor we will provide. Where your guest would be able to eat food, utensils and crockery we will provide. But rest
Mhm.
everything you need to manage. Rest everything means the raw material via which food will be cooked or food will be prepared, we need to manage it. Music
Okay.
on which my guest would be able to dance, we need to manage it.
Mhm.
So similarly, Microsoft says I can provide you the underlying infra. I'm providing you dedicated space, and apart from providing dedicated space, I'm also providing you the underlying infra.
Okay.
One example to this is there is a service called as Azure App Services.
Mhm.
So using this Azure App Services, we can directly go ahead and we can directly deploy a web application. We are writing the application. See, in this case as well, we have written the application code and we can make the changes into the application code. In second case as well, we are writing the application code, we are building the application, we are deploying the application, and if in case we want, we can do the changes into the application code as well, right? But in the second case, we can directly go ahead and we can directly deploy the web application. This web application will be running on a machine, but that
Mhm.
machine is created and that machine is managed by Microsoft. See, in the first case, we first need to
Mm-hmm.
create the machine, then only we can deploy the application. In the
Mm-hmm.
second case, we can directly deploy the application without creating a machine. But by default, the machine gets created. Microsoft is creating it and Microsoft is managing it. So machine,
So, for example, of any app,
example of any app means
the web app, like can you give example like what, for
it
example,
could
like what
be
type of web app?
any web app. It could be .NET application, Java application, could be anything. When you say what kind of a web app means, so you can build this web app on .NET, right? ASP.NET, maybe .NET 6, .NET 8, right? You can build this on Java. You can build this on Python, PHP, Ruby, any language you can use.
So this web app, okay, so say we made a web app, right?
Hmm.
So in past, we'll just go and select a already existing VM.
We would not be selecting the existing VM. So we'll talk about that process as well. So basically here in this case, before we create the web app, we have to create something called as app service plan.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what I mentioned here is in the second case, I mentioned that Microsoft will be creating a machine and
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft will be managing the machine.
Mm-hmm.
But now the question comes, how will Microsoft come to know what is my requirement?
Okay.
Whether I want Microsoft to create a Windows based machine or whether I want Microsoft to create a Linux based machine, what should be the
Okay.
configuration of the machine, what should be the capacity of the machine, what should be the features that should be coming along with the machine. So how will Microsoft come to know what is my requirement for the application? So we have to provide some information to Microsoft, and accordingly Microsoft
Okay.
would be able to build that machine, right?
Okay. It's okay. Okay. When we do further, you can show me like example, right? How to build
we'll,
it,
we'll,
and
we'll talk
it's
about
okay.
this in detail. So I think then
Okay.
this point, see, right now we're just trying to set up a base. So slowly and
Mm-hmm.
gradually we'll dig deep on all these topics, so then you will get
Okay.
more clarity around the same.
Yeah. It's okay.
All right. Now in third option, hotel manager says that I am going to arrange everything for you end to end. You don't need to do anything. Everything end to end I am going to manage for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Means where your guests would be able to sit, table, chair, sofas, we will be managing. Where your guests would
Mm-hmm.
be able to dance, music, DJ floor, we will be managing. Where your guests would
Mm-hmm.
be able to eat food, utensils, crockery, everything we will be managing, right? So
Mm-hmm.
everything end to end will be managed by the hotel manager. We just need to go along with our guest. We just need to enjoy the party. We just need to settle the bill and we are good.
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft says, I am going to provide you everything end to end. End to end, everything will be provided by Microsoft. Means, see, in the first case, we first need to create a machine, then we can deploy the application. In
Mm-hmm.
second case, we can directly go ahead and we can directly deploy the application. But first, we need to write the application code, then only we can build the application, right? In
Mm-hmm.
third case, Microsoft says, I can provide you ready-made applications. You don't need to even focus on the writing the application code, managing the application code. I am providing you
Mm-hmm.
ready-made applications. For example, Office 365, SharePoint.
Okay.
It could be third-party application as well, Salesforce,
Mm-hmm.
Workday, could be any application, right? Etc. So basically, see, have we written the code for Office 365 application? No.
No.
Can we make some changes into the Office 365 application code? No.
No.
Is Office 365 application, is it running on our servers? Is it running on our machines? No.
No.
So basically what we are doing, we are simply buying a license and we are simply using the service, right? So that is what
Mm-hmm.
software as a service is,
Okay.
right? If you want, I can give you one more example for this IES, PaaS and SaaS, and that will add more clarity to it. Let me give one more example. See,
Okay.
let's say I would like to go from home to airport.
Mm-hmm.
So what are my options? How can I travel from home to airport?
So car, taxi, on drive.
So I can go via car, or I can go via Uber or Ola, and
Mm-hmm.
I can use public transport, maybe train,
Mm-hmm.
bus, tram, something, right?
Mm-hmm.
See, when I'm going by car, you can consider this as IaaS. Reason? I am responsible for the underlying infra on which I'm traveling. See, car is nothing but an infrastructure on which I'm
Mm-hmm.
traveling. And I am responsible for the underlying infra. I am also responsible for the ride that I will have from home to airport. I am
Yeah.
responsible for the fuel. I am
Mm-hmm.
responsible for any parking charges, any toll charges, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I am basically responsible for the ride. I am also responsible for the underlying infra. If car
Okay.
insurance is has gone or it's not valid, then I have to renew it. If car gets punctured, it's my responsibility to fix it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I am responsible for the infra. I'm also responsible for the drive. I can use Uber or Ola. Now this is you can consider as pass. Now let's say if I'm traveling via Uber and if in case car does not have a valid insurance, is it my responsibility? No.
Oh,
If car gets punctured, is it my responsibility? No.
no.
But can I change the ride? Can I change the route? Let's say I have to pick up my friend in between. Maybe I can add one more station. I can add one more point.
Mm-hmm.
So now I am only responsible for the ride. I have to pay for the ride. I
Yeah.
am not responsible for the underlying infra.
Okay.
Third, you can consider this as SaaS. Am I responsible for the underlying infra? No.
No.
Am I responsible for the ride? No.
No.
If I ask a train driver or the bus driver that please change the station, I have to pick
They
up
will.
my friend, or please stop the train for 5 more minutes here.
Mm-hmm.
He or she is not going to follow me, right?
Yeah.
So I have just purchased a ticket or the token and I can go from one station to another station. That's it. We
Mm-hmm.
can consider this as
Understood.
SaaS. Right?
Okay. Yeah. Now it's clear.
All right. Okay. Now, when we go with cloud, we are getting multiple benefits with cloud. Right? So there are
Mm-hmm.
multiple benefits of cloud, we can say. See, first benefit we are getting is we are getting a global reach. So
Yeah.
global reaches, like we have data centers everywhere. So we are
Mm-hmm.
basically getting global reach, right? We can deploy resources in US data center, Germany data center, China data center, and so on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then we are getting predictive cost
Yeah.
considerations, right? So before we
Mm-hmm.
deploy something, we can figure out how much it is going to cost us. So there is a
Yeah.
pricing calculator, and we can figure out. We are getting multiple services via which we can achieve security. If
Mm-hmm.
in case we want to achieve disaster recovery, there are services available to achieve disaster recovery. It is
Mm-hmm.
providing us agility. Agility is how quickly we can respond, right?
Yeah.
So within couple of clicks, we can provision something, we can deprovision something.
Yeah.
The hardware we are getting the hardware which can have a fault tolerance.
Mm-hmm.
We can achieve elasticity. We can achieve scalability as well, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, can you please tell me what is the difference between elasticity and scalability?
Scalability is, I think, like how, say, you want a 20 VM setup quickly, right? You can
Mhm.
scale down and scale up. Elasticity, I think it's like you want to increase the capacity of a VM or something like that, or you can
Ab-
move it, or right?
Absolutely correct, right? So basically, elasticity is we can also call it as vertical scaling,
Okay.
right? And here we have two options. We have something called as scale up, and we have something called as scale down. So as
Mm-hmm.
you mentioned, absolutely correct. So let's say we have a VM which has an
Mm-hmm.
OS. It has a size, let's say 4 CPU, 16 GB of memory, and here we have deployed an application, right?
Mm-hmm.
So whenever this application will get some traffic, it will try to consume the resources from 4 CPU and 16 GB RAM.
Yeah.
Let's say a lot of traffic is coming, so what we can do, we can make it 8 CPU, let's say 32 GB, or 16 CPU,
Yeah.
64 GB, or let's say 16 CPU, 128 GB. So basically we are scaling up, right?
Mm-hmm.
We are adding more resources, we can handle more traffic, we are scaling up. If the traffic is low, we can again come back to 8 CPU, 32 GB, right? 4 CPU, 16 GB, and so on. Okay, so this is what scale up and scale down. Now scalability, we again have two options. So scalability is also referred as horizontal scaling.
Mm-hmm.
So here we have two options. We call it as scale out and we call it as scale in, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So basically we can increase or decrease the number of machines. So if traffic will increase, we can increase the number of machines. If traffic will
Mhm.
decrease, we can decrease the number of machines, right?